Hello, welcome back. It's all about monsters today, and we're going to deal with a dragon, a spell casting dragon. That's what's on the cards for today. For those of you who are wondering what you're going to get, yes. We're taking this from Esper's Emporium of Esoterica. I've been doing a lot of this recently. Really enjoying the whole process of covering stuff from Esper's Emporium of Esoterica, and I hope you will too. That doesn't change the fact that after I do the presentation on the orb dragon, that we won't move on to doing a workshop, because I like the idea of continuing to do the workshops. It works for me. I feel like we wind up making a lot of really cool tools. I'm going to put up a poll. You can feel free to take part in that poll or not. It's really completely up to you. I don't mind. My suggestion is grab some food, some drink, make sure you're comfortable, and we're going to go from there, okay? I'm sure you're going to have a good time. All right, so enough's enough. You have prepared yourself. You've got your food, your drink. You're ready for me to present this. Hello, Fred Huber. How are you? Nice to have you here. Let's get straight into the topic, shall we? Okay, where are we? Hi, welcome to How to RPG. My name is Fred Wheeler, and today I want to talk about monsters. Now, this monster is a dragon. It's the orb dragon, and it casts spells. And it does so from an orb. It is also a Dungeons & Dragons 5e compatible monster. In other words, you can use it in your game if you're playing 5e, and if you're not, you can at least just use the lore. It's all fine. It's from Esper's Emporium of Esoterica, and I have some information for you. So the orb dragon is an arcane master, an otherworldly creature. And an orb dragon will actually pardon me. The orb dragon represents the boundary where the ethereal plane meets the material plane, where might meets the mystical, where sorcery meets wizardry. Appearing like a dream, the orb dragon is surreal, it's shifting in form, and always laced with mist. From the back of the orb dragon's head protrudes multi-pronged horns with white flowing hair. Thick whiskers grow like tentacles or tendrils from the sides of the orb dragon's snout, and a long tuft of beard sprouts from its chin. The underside of the orb dragon's body has a pale colorization, whereas the upper sections are covered with dark indigo scales. The orb dragon's wing membranes slowly blend from one hue to another, and they can often change. An orb held by the orb dragon in its hands displays an iridescent sheen to it. When angry, the orb dragon exhales a breath attack of vivid prismatic colours. Orb dragon eggs only hatch in locations where wild magic is the strongest. One or more of the dragon's family members prepares this orb for a hatchling ahead of time before the hatchling emerges from their egg. This orb is both physical and spiritual, a sphere of polished crystal that is imbued with draconic magic through a ritual that can only be performed on the ethereal plane. When the new dragon hatches, its very essence is actually unstable. Those who ready the orb perform a ritual that bonds the hatchling to the orb, which serves to stabilize the dragon, as well as catalyze or firmly embed their innate magic and connect it with the orb. The orb dragon remains bonded to the orb all of its years, for as long as it's alive, and can easily summon it back to its hands if it is separated from that orb. In rare cases, the orb dragon might need to replace the orb, but how it's done is not really known. During whatever span of time an orb dragon remains unbonded to the orb, the dragon reverts to a less stable version, with parts of itself phasing in and out of the material plane back to the ethereal plane. The magical sphere that orb dragons are bonded to come in various wondrous colours. Commonly favoured colours for an orb are aquamarine. So aquamarine represents the sea, purple symbolises balance, black stands for mystery. From the dragon's earliest days, it learns to utilize the magic of its orb. As long as the orb is in the orb dragon's hands, the dragon can attack with pulses of arcane force, detect the presence of magic, move nearby objects with its mind, and produce vivid and minor magical effects that it can imagine. And quite a lot more that's not necessarily spelled out. When another creature casts a spell, if the orb dragon can actually see the mage or the wizard or sorcerer performing that spell, it can use its orb to attempt to mirror that spell and clash in a duel of arcane mastery, which more than likely it will win. Older orb dragons also use their magical spheres to phase between the material plane and the ethereal plane, and they can see through illusions, and they can also see through solid objects. An orb dragon typically dwells in an island, protects the perimeter by summoning storms to wreak havoc on the coastal waters. Orb dragons can be bargained with for items that they prize for their hoard, such as translucent gemstones, divination objects, mirrors, crystalline artwork, fine tea leaves for divining, clairvoyancy, arcane scrolls, and spellbooks. Classic foes of the orb dragon tend to be the blue and bronze dragon, but they also come into conflict with Erifit, giants, and, of course, the Lich. And that's everything that I have for you on the orb dragon for today. I want to say a huge thank you to you for watching and listening. I want to thank my patrons. I specifically want to thank Esper the Bard for all of your support around this. Thank you very much. And hey, till next time, keep rolling those 20s. Okay, all right. We're going to go quickly to chat, and then we're going to get started on showing you the entry in the book. Okay, I want to get that done, and then we want to do some tool building. I was instructed by Esper to try changing the titling of these live streams to see if that would help, and I'm certainly hoping that will be the case. But you never know. Honestly, I have no idea. So even though I haven't put it into the title workshop, there is a workshop where we will build new tools for building and creating your own monsters and creatures. Okay, I have no intentions of stopping doing that at all. It's just not written into the title. Okay, so let's look at Esper's entry in the book, and I will just draw this over quickly. Pardon me. I've got a bit of gas. Here we go. Is it there? Yes, there. There we go. There it is. This is the orb dragon. Now, there is, of course, more than just one type of orb dragon. You can have an ancient one, ancient orb dragon. You can have an adult orb dragon, and they get, younger. It's structured in the same way as your monster manual, essentially. So you don't have to worry about having, the right dragon for your level, your character levels group. It's not a problem. So the ancient orb dragon has a high armor class. Most dragons don't usually go beyond 21 or 22 as an armor class. This one has 21. 420 hit points for a challenge rating 22, which is pretty tame, frankly. It can fly. It has a fly speed of 80 feet, which is fairly standard. It can swim 40 feet. It has a movement speed of 40 feet on the ground. It is very strong. It's not very quick, but it's very sort of tough. It's a tough creature, and it's very, very clever because it casts spells and quite charismatic. Most dragons have really good stats anyway. One of the things you'll definitely see standing out is you can see that it has training in history and arcana, which is basically magic, perception and stealth, and some damage resistances, and blind sight and dark vision. I don't know why it doesn't have true sight. I'm sure that Esper has his reasons for not giving this dragon true sight. It does seem to sort of fit with it, but that's not what I'm here for. It's amphibious, so it can breathe underwater. Okay, if it can swim, it can breathe underwater, right? It has its orb that it is bonded to. It has some innate spell casting. There are some spells lined up here. That doesn't mean you could not change them out if you wanted to. You could most certainly do something like that. I'm just going to zoom in here a little bit so it's a little bit easier to see. Okay, And obviously your legendary resistance. It has multi-attack with a bite and your orb pulse and its tail attack. And then you have your breath weapon, which is 90-foot cone for the ancient orb dragon. 22 dexterity saving throw, and on average it's going to do about 67 points of damage, which is not a lot, but it does. You can change the damage type. So anyway, it has a reaction. So this is the mirror spell that I was sort of mentioning before, where it can mirror the spell. It has some legendary actions, which is the orb gaze and the tail attack and the ethereal stride, each of which you will use in whatever way you like. There is, of course, a stat block for the adult orb dragon, as I mentioned, and there's one for the young orb dragon, and of course you would also get your wormling if you want something else like that. There are, of course, orb dragon lair actions, so dazzling arcana, magic awareness, spectral orbs, and some regional effects, just like you would expect. Okay, so I've kind of gone over roughly not in a very mechanical way, but the presentation that I do is that it's trying to take all of the elements of the dragon and sort of make it more narrative. So, I mean, I can go over these if you really wanted me to, but it may not be necessary, because I think you'll find that most of it is actually there in some way or form, okay? I feel like this dragon in particular has the potential to be your major spell casting dragon. They're not necessarily that evil either, so it's not like, they're neutrals. They don't really go out of their way to cause trouble, unless, of course, somebody brings trouble with them. Anyway, I just thought I would at least show you that, explain a little bit, and so yes, that is the orb dragon for today. Will we be doing any more dragons? Probably not for Esper's Emporium of Esoterica. Will we be doing it for other game systems and their monsters, or for 5e monsters, or whatever monster I come up with that I like the look of? Yeah, possibly. I don't know when that might be. It might be a while. We might even wind up making our own dragon at some point, because at some point we're going to be doing that. Hello, Derp. How are you doing? Yeah, legendary action gives true sight. Yes, yeah, but I mean, true sight as a legendary action is, it's kind of like not an action, if you know what I mean. True sight, honestly, I feel like is a thing you should kind of, if you're going to have it, you might as well have it all the time. For your monster, that is. I mean, remember, your monsters are only going to live between 1 and 3 rounds. This dragon might last 5 rounds if you're lucky. But if it's 420 hit points doesn't sound like an awful lot when you're dealing with a character who can pump out at level 10 or between level 10 and 20 close to 100 hit points of damage every time they take their turn. So that's another thing to consider. Anyway, so we've been talking about what tools to make, and so this is what I want to do today. We had decided that we're kind of 2 different areas that potentially had room to move where we could do something, and those are the ones I really want to focus down on rather than anything else. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start it off. We'll start it as a 100 table. I don't expect it to wind up being a true 100 table of whatever it is, because I just don't think it will work. I think for the monster society, I think that is the one that interests me the most. There's also monster reproduction, but I don't know that we can actually come up with enough different types of reproduction processes. I mean, I'm sure there are different reproduction processes, because there are. But I actually think that monster society, coming up with different monster societies, is probably going to be more interesting and probably easier to achieve, because ultimately there aren't that many different types of society anyway. So this is why I'm thinking this is the one to go for. So hashtag. And honestly, when it comes to society, I think we'll be lucky if we even get 10. I mean, more than 10 different types of society without reproducing ourselves, it's going to be hard. Monster society. If they have one, that is. They might not have a monster society at all. So I'm just creating a document to work on. And nope, too far. There we go. Right. Okay, so let me shift you over to this. I will magnify it, make it a little bit bigger so you can actually see it. That might help. And let's move over to our screen. I'll get my phone. Table of legendary actions. So the only reason why I haven't thought, well, look, I can add a table of legendary actions. I can add that. The problem, I think, with a table of legendary actions, Fred, is that would they be any different to our table of special abilities, monster special abilities? Would that table look any different, really? Because I don't think it would. I think it would just wind up being a reproduction. But let's put it down for now as a potential. I still like the idea of doing monster societies because, you know, not all monsters are going to have a society for sure. Absolutely. But I still think there's definitely a place to put it. So that's what I want to work on today. I'm not going to do a huge long live stream or anything like that. I'm going to be going for about an hour and then I'm going to stop. Okay, trying more and more to look after myself rather than put myself out of commission. Okay, so this is 100 monster societies, and I don't think we're going to get anywhere near that. I think we're going to get far less. So, yep, societies. And if I go here, I can grab another document that we've done before. While you guys are coming up with some ideas, I will start planting your ideas in there for sure. Okay, let's pull it out of this one. I need to finish this too, don't I? Here, let's go here and close that. And then put this into here. All right. Okay, cool. All right, so I will start filling things in. I'm going to shift back to my head. I'm going to work my way through the chat. Rather than trying to track it on my phone, my eyes aren't working very well today. But also, too, I want to open my windows and doors because it's getting really, really hot. So this break is only, I'm putting the break screen up. It's only for a minute to open my doors and windows, okay? Okay, almost round. Getting comfortable. Back into it. And there we go. I'm done. So, monster societies. Now we can use plenty of we can certainly include the societies or different types of societies that exist for humans. I don't think that that's a bad idea at all, okay? So let's just type in here, hashtag what are the different monster societies? Societies. Okay, I think I got it right. Oh, did I spell it wrong? I can't remember. Okay, anyway, it's done. It's too late now. Let's have a look here. Table of legendary actions. Hive Mind Society. Let's add Pale Rider suggestion there. That's good. And I'll add that in. I need to add a little bit more to that, don't I? I need to give them a better idea of what does a hive mind mean. That's my job, I guess. I'll be doing that. Strongest rules. Strongest rules. What is another word for strongest rules? Is there a particular name for that? Maybe there isn't. Maybe there isn't. Question mark. Okay, so we've got that one. Someday maybe a table of useful harvestable monster parts. So, so derp, I have thought about, and I've got that on the list. I have still not been able to nail down in my head completely how to go about doing that. Bloodline society. What does a bloodline society mean, though? That's the question. So what I'm thinking about derp is, I don't think just a list of body parts for a monster is useful to a game master. What I think is probably more useful is what those body parts could be turned into. So if it's going to be a table structured that way, I think it needs to be a list of different things that you could use parts of the monster or creature for. And that's probably more useful to you. So, yeah. Because I was thinking about, like, if we're just going monster parts, well, I've already got I think it's a list of 24, 26 different monster parts, and we use to actually create the monster itself. So I don't know that that's hugely useful, since we've kind of already got something like that. So we need to think about what are we really trying to do with it. It's not so much the part of the monster that we need to know about, it's what our players might want to try to do with it. That's probably the most important aspect, right? So derp, you've got here cratocracy. What is a cratocracy? Every part is potentially useful. You can find the wizard or alchemist who wants it. So I guess too, in terms of monster parts being used by our players, I mean, many different parts of the monster might be able to be turned into the same sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? So, pride as a lion, leader is the strongest. Pride. Okay. Okay, so strongest rules. Pride. We'll call it pride. How's that sound? Pride it is. I'm going to put this all into alphabetical order at some point. Pride. The strongest alpha monster rules over the rest of the monster society. Okay, I've got it. Thank you, Fred. We've got that in. The Wolf Pack Society. Okay, Wolf Pack. Well, we could call it Pride, or we could call it the Wolf Pack. I think we're going to leave Wolf Pack, but I think we've got that nailed down. Bloodline Society is the royal family. Ah, I see. Okay. Yes. Feudal is bloodline, as described. Feudal is bloodline. That's probably true. Democratic, yes, absolutely. It's a bloodline. I'm going to put here feudal. Paste. Come back to this. And I'm going to have to do a little bit of jostling things around, but we'll get there. Democratic society. Okay, democracy. So I've got a few of these already. So for those of you who don't know, just not so long ago, like a couple of days ago, we were covering world building. Remember we were covering world building, and I had different societies that you could have. I'm going to port a lot of those concepts over into this document, okay, which I'm building on Google right now. So you just can't see what I'm doing right now because I'm I'm getting rid of the I'm eliminating the bit that's going to cause me the most trouble. So world building, and I can translate and take a lot of the information that's already been built from that and transfer it straight into this table, because those were pretty clear breakdowns of things. Here we go. So I go here, copy, and I take this into here, drop that there, paste, change the format. Okay, so monarchy. Okay, so we've got monarchy, so feudal can go. Well, actually, monarchy is kind of like that, but it's not necessarily like that, is it? I mean, we can probably still keep bloodline society. There is democracy, so we've got democracy now. Democratic society, democracy. Got it. That's sorted. Oligarchy, which is a government formed by a few persons or families. That's sort of like the tribal one, which I've got that. Authoritarianism, which is the dictatorship. Okay, so we've got all of the basics ones. Theocracy. Okay. So far, we're kind of up to almost nine different concepts. The clan, yes. Solo. That's very good point. Solo is definitely something we want to consider. We got a society where they do not they venture alone. They're on their own. The clan and solo. The monster does not have a society and society because it's one of a kind, or what's the word? Have society because it's one of a kind, or it's gosh. Now I'm trying to think in terms of how I would describe being a loner. It's not really. That's not really the way how I want to describe it, though. I'm going to get caught up in all of this. What's the best way to describe it, Fred? Ah, okay. Cratocracy is for ruling by strength. Okay, interesting. Interesting. All right. I'll let me just give me a second, and I'll drop these things in here. I'm working my way through this. We'll get the right names for things. Republic. I have to come back to you. My biggest problem with something like the Republic is people's concept of a republic is so different because it's based off what historically have been called republics when they really weren't republics. If that makes sense. Magcrocracy? What is that? Magcrocracy. What does that mean? Is it a mage? Yes, macrocracy, ruled by wizards. Ah, okay, I see. Anarchy. There is no society or rules. Absolutely, we can include that one. Why not? Anarchy. The monster doesn't. Ah. The monster's society is fragmented with no rules or laws. Okay, I think I got that one. Cool. Right, we'll come back to those. Ruled by wizards, so that's a magcrocracy. Okay, magecracy. It's not a real word, but it says. Oh no, it does say it is a real word. Can I actually do a search for this and find it? Is it actually definable? Meaning, magecracy. Countable plural. Okay, government or ruled by those with magical powers. Hierarchy composed. Okay, I see. Yeah. So it does exist. Okay, let's do that. Okay. A government or ruled by or government ruled by those with magical powers, a hierarchy composed of wizards or mages. Okay, good. Got it. That's down. Now, genocracy. And what is this? Can't think of the name. Ruled by the richest. Oh, okay. All right. Let me just drop that in. I have to come back to it because I don't know what that is. Genocracy. Genocracy. There are so many of them. And I almost feel like some of them kind of do sort of bleed over to existing ones. Like, how different is it? Plutocracy. If you want lots of different types of societies, I found that the Dungeon Master Guide for 5e, which is a fairly useless book, it is not a particularly good Dungeon Master Guide, okay? If you look at what people have done before. But what it does do is it has a lot of different types of societies. Some of them are it's kind of repeat, but it does have lots of little variations that you can look at. If you haven't figured it out, New Zealand, we're going from our summer into our autumn, which means that very shortly, when I am live streaming, it will be a different time for some of you. I believe in about a week or two, or a week and a half. I don't know exactly when it happens because I can't remember. I think it's about a week, less than a week from now, or a week from now, I'm not sure. But when I'm live streaming at 12 o'clock, for a lot of you, it's going to be later in the day by about an hour, I suspect. That's my understanding. Because, yeah, we'll be going out of daylight savings here in New Zealand into normal time frame for us. So everything sort of shifts around again. Rolled by the oldest. Oh, is it? Didn't know that one. Geriatric. You're going to have the geriatric. Are you making a reference to North American presidents by any chance? My general feeling is that it's a trend that goes right around the world, not just in North America. I mean, the idea being that usually the best people to lead are those who are a little bit older. It's not always the case, though. Ruled by proof of ability. Etrocos. Oh, I don't know. I've never heard of this one before. I'm going to have to do a little bit of research again. Well, we've definitely got past, I feel like we might have got past 10, and we may be about into the 18. Maybe we'll get to 20. I guess it's possible. Okay, that's that one. A week to time change here. All right, so you got a 1 week before you're having a time change. There will be a point where it'll go back to me. It'll be 12 o'clock for me, and it'll be 5 o'clock in Los Angeles and 8 o'clock in Miami or something like that. And then the shift will go right back to sort of, yeah, whatever, you know what I mean. Okay, let's have a look and see what I need to do here, because I'm pretty sure I'm ready to start filling in some of the gaps here. I don't want to do that until I at least mark this off and at least start organizing things a little bit. So I'm just going to mark here, put the prompt in again. It gives me a marker for the chat, and let's start toying around with what we've got here. Is this the one? Yes, it is. So this is what I've got so far. It's a mess, I know, I'm aware. Okay, hive mind society. So we've just defined that one because it's quite a cool one to have. And we'll put that in, pull up the ideas. Here you go. Look, this is, aren't I good? I'm doing all the stuff that you would normally have to do yourself. Eliminating that process is one in which individual agents together form a further agent of some moral significance. As we will see, in this broad sense, we are plausibly persuading. Okay, so there's kind of what's going on here. Paste. Okay. So individual monsters. gather together to form a collective moral and decision making entity. I think that's probably what we're trying to say here. So, okay, there's hive mind. That's that one done. This one here, let's grab this. I think you'd already said that it was the strongest, the mightiest, which is probably the pride one, right? So let's grab this, put this in here, figure out exactly how that should be structured. Okay, what do we got here? Defining cryptocracy, or ancient Greek, a government based on cohesive power by those strong enough to seize control through physical violence. Okay, all right. So that's what it is. Strongest monster. Okay, so let's do this. Let's put this in here. A government based on a cohesive power by those strong enough to seize control through physical violence or demagogic manipulation. I don't even know what that means. Or manipulation. Let's just go manipulation. Let's just keep it simple. I'm a simple person. I need to keep it basic so I can understand what the heck I'm reading. Okay, the strongest alpha monster controls the rest of the monster. Pack or group. Okay, that's good. The clan. Let's do the clan because that's not a bad one to consider as well. And we can get that one done. Clan. A close-knit group of interrelated families, especially in the Scottish health. So we need a. So let's go here. Large family group of people with strong common interests. Clan, family, large family. Close-knit group of interrelated families. I think that's probably what we're dealing with here. So let's go here. A monster with a close-knit group of interrelated families. Okay, we've got the clan. Republic. Let's deal with republic. Form of government in which the state is ruled by representatives of a citizen body. Well, okay. Really, which is kind of really, republic is very similar in many respects to democracy, isn't it? Modern republics are founded on the idea that sovereignty rests with the people, those who is excluded from the category of people. It's varied across history. Yes, it certainly has. Okay, so we'll take this. I'll put that in. And obviously this is all over the place. I haven't sorted everything out yet, people. Just make it happen. Monsters form of government. is ruled by representatives of the population. Okay, I think that's got that one. Let's grab this one. Anarchy, monsters, monsters, monsters. Let's do this here. Copy. Working my way through here. None of this is something you couldn't do it yourself as a game master. I am perfectly aware, people. But I think often too, when we are preparing and making stuff for ourselves, we don't think, well, I've got time to sit down and come up with a table for this and a table for that. And I will reuse it. So it's all good. Because I think game masters go from one session to the next just with enough time to prepare enough to run the next game. Because I know for me, that tends to be the case. And when I talk to other people, that tends to be the case. Unless you are the sort of person who doesn't game master for years and years and years, and then you've created all the stuff that you want, or you're the sort of person who doesn't need to worry about creating a lot of stuff, you're just doing it on the fly. Now, I do a lot of stuff on the fly, but I usually have a structure myself. The type of government which focuses on problem solving and creative intelligence. Oh, okay. The form of government that focuses on potentially intelligent leadership and is ruled by, comes from the English word genius. Oh, I see. Intelligent leadership. That would be nice, would it not? Can you imagine if our societies right now were ruled by those that were selected, not by popularity, not by how good they were at how wealthy they were and how much they could put into an ad campaign, but by people who actually knew what was best for everybody, not just one part of the population, but for everybody, because they were just really good at thinking about stuff. Instead of ruled by lawyers and ruled by the wealthy, but ruled by scientists. I wonder if that's what would look like. Is that what it would look like? The type of the monsters, government focuses on problem solving and creative intelligence. With intelligence with the smartest individuals being leaders. Being leaders. Okay. You know, when finally the likes of capitalism and communism and democracy as we know it finally sort of fall away and is replaced with something else, maybe it's going to be replaced with something like this in the far future. I don't think it'll be happening anytime soon, but maybe it'll be that. Maybe. Okay, so let's grab this. I don't know what else you guys have plonked into there, so I'm just going to keep working my way through this so I get it done. I'm easily distracted, as you know. Still got 15 minutes, which is good. Why am I having trouble? Because I've pressed the wrong button. Oh, there we go. Paste. Let's do this. So, wealthy. A society that is ruled by and controlled by the people with an income. Right. Let's include this one. I think this is probably the next one here. Good one. A monster. Society that is ruled or controlled by individuals of great wealth or income. Okay. Right. We're doing quite well, actually, considering. Let's take this one. Geotric, ruled by the oldest. The monster. Let's go here. Creature. Society. Is ruled by the oldest living member. Members is ruled by members. Geotric. Member or members. Living members. Member or members. Or members. Okay. Ruled by proof of ability. This is interesting. Here's a lot of words that I am not familiar with. Then again, I guess in the past, in my own country, in New Zealand, I did talk a lot about politics, and now it all feels the same, so I don't really bother. Dear. But you can't help but talk about politics if you're dealing with a table of 100 monster societies, which we're not going to be doing 100. Let's get real. It isn't going to happen. What is this? A system, organization, or society in which people are chosen and moved into position of success, power, and influence on the basis of their demonstrated abilities and merits. My gosh, would that not be... That could be very interesting as a... maybe that's 1,000, 10,000 years from now if we're still alive and still around. This is a very interesting concept, would it not? Be nice to see that one. Okay. Problem is that how would your system work to ensure that the people with the most capacity to demonstrate the ability to lead the society actually get there? Society in which individuals are chosen and moved into positions of success, power, and influence on the basis of their demonstrated abilities and merit. Okay. All right. And I think... Did I get them all? Sorry, the monster... Oh, this is where I got stuck. The monster does not have the society because it's one of a kind or oh God, I can't get myself past this. What is that word that I need for that? Anyway, let's do the bloodline. And I think that's everything that you guys currently threw at me that I needed to get down. And then we'll go have a look at chat. See what else you've got down there. You might have some more stuff. A sequence of direct ancestors, especially in a pedigree. Family strain. Okay, so I feel like some of these might be repeating just a little bit. Here we go. So we'll put this. The monster community has a sequence of direct ancestors, especially in a particular pedigree, that rule the society. Okay. So I think we got them all. Let's go back to the chat. So I'm going to take this screen away since I did most of the work. Yes, it's not alphabetical, I'm aware. I'm aware it's not alphabetical, but I'm going to going to jump back over to the chat and see what you guys have put in there. Gosh, you got... Oh, okay. You're freaking me out just a little bit. Calrell, how you doing? How are you doing today? Correct name for the ruling by the eldest is... Oh, okay. Not geometry. Okay, all right. I'll change that out. Okay. All right. Oh, dear. Now let's go here. Paste this. Oh God, it's a word. I've got it in there. I've done it. I can't pronounce it, but I don't know if the birds are at your end or my chickens. Must check my birds. So there, no, you got to remember my windows and doors are open, so you might be able to hear like some sort of machinery in the background. You might be able, the least capable. That's an interesting idea. Feels like we have a few of those going on all the time, doesn't it? Like the absolute stupidest individual is the one in power. Could well be. Could well be. Let's just grab this and change that out. Put that in. Oh my gosh! It does actually. It exists. There is a definition. Oh. A society ruled by or made up of idiots. It does exist. Got to have it then. A monster society run by or made up of idiots. It is hilarious. Thank you for that, Fred. You did that was lovely. Dominions. Primal role of the Dominion is to govern and oversee the universe, responsible for maintaining order and balance in the cosmos. 3 levels of spheres, each containing dominions. Okay. Hybrid government, mixing 2 or more of the other forms. That's actually a good point. If we probably want to be able to have that option in there, Fred. Fred Huber always points out good points. Like that's not a stupid idea at all. Hybrid society. Mix 2 or more of the other forms of government or society. Okay, I got it. It's done. It's in. Cabal of leaders chosen through a lottery. Oh, that's interesting, Calrell. It's very interesting. I like it. Let's put that one in there. Cool. Cabal. The monsters community of leaders is chosen through a lottery. Just depends who's the luckiest through a lottery. Love it. Love it. Cool. Nice. Yes, we've got that one. Ruled by the undead. Nick. Okay. Okay, we can do this. That would be a very strange one, but certainly we can employ this one in here somewhere. How are we doing for time? We're doing pretty well. You guys have come up with a lot of ideas. And you work fast. I've just got to make sure I put it together so it can be read and understood, right? Okay, so it's okay. So this is going to be interesting. What is that going to look like? The monsters society is ruled by the undead. Ruled by undead creatures. Okay. What about slavery? I know it's not the word to use anytime, apparently, but it is a thing. Like, and there's nothing better to fight in a role-playing game than, frankly, slavery. This is one of the best topics under the sun, simply because it's been a problem for years. It is still a huge problem, even though people don't seem to think that it exists in their own country, but it does. And it makes a great topic to have the players engage in, and hopefully in the right way, in the way where they try to break it. So I definitely think that's something to consider. That is sort of like the dictatorship, isn't it? Really, we look in terms of slavery society. I mean, really, that's what. Well, no, it is slightly different, isn't it? The original concept of the U.S. Senate was appointment by the state legislatures based on merit. Someone decided that it should be popular vote instead of passing a constitutional amendment. Yeah, and one of the biggest problems, I think, is that based on merit, when your society is not an even playing field, it's never going to work, because those who are in a better position from the get-go, from birth, and as they grow up, are always going to wind up probably having more merit than everybody else, compared to those who just try to struggle through their life. So it's not it. I think a system like that will only ever work when we eliminate those who have more than others. Do you know what I mean? When you can eliminate that part of the society, then you can probably work that out. Unfortunately, it does exist. I think a few examples, but a friend bring on. That's fine. That's fine. I just thought it was entertaining to see that somebody put it forward. Most governments devoted to ruled by artificial intelligence. Skynet is real. Forced internship. Indentured servitude. Right, liberal components of. Blah blah. Right. Okay, you lost me completely. So for those of you who are in North America, you have to understand. I'm in New Zealand. You can go on about some of the stuff, and Calrell, it has got. I don't even understand what that second to last paragraph says in the comment section. I don't understand any of that. It's, poof. Do you know what I mean? I understand the idea of rule by artificial intelligence. That I can put in. So let's do that, and I think we've come to the end of it, which means a little bit of adjusting and shuffling things around, but it's not too bad. Artificial. What is a government ruled by? What is a government ruled by artificial intelligence? I don't know what that would be. Okay. Oh, there is something here. It's a logarithm government. Okay, so that's what it is. All right, I'm getting there. It's just trying to form it into a basic concept and idea. The creatures, society is ruled by artificial intelligence. We got it. Slavery. Okay. So let's do this. Put that there. A small portion creatures. Practice. Okay, all right. I think I got it. Forced internship. This wrote about story parallel to iRobot. The robots actually did take over. Oh, did they? The humanoids robots that would not let humans take any risks. Okay. I mean, I've seen the movie. I never read the book. I've seen the movie. I never read the book. I'm going to end this poll. There are only 9 votes here. For those of you who are here, so Fred Huber, Cal Rowell, Derp, those people who are in chat and have been commenting, I would, and Pale Rider, if you're still here, I would really like some feedback from you in terms of the titling. Okay, I want to ask you this question. Do you really think that it helps by titling it the way that I have? Hashtag. Do you think that changing the title of the live stream on Monster Lore has helped in any way? I'm not sold on the idea. I'm pursuing it, and I'm going to see what it does, because I didn't see it. I mean, when I changed the title on a previous live stream where we were doing Monster Lore and workshop stuff, it didn't seem to really change anything. I think there was one more vote. It ticked up by one more vote. That was it. Otherwise, it was sort of sitting still. So I don't honestly think that it makes any difference. Do you know what I mean? I think what I've established is that the Monster Lore and the workshop stuff that we do on my channel, don't know whether it matters. I don't think it matters. I think that the reality is, because I'm not in North America and I'm in New Zealand, YouTube is never really going to feed this to very many people as a viable watching experience. And I think I just have to live with that fact. I don't think there's any way of getting around that. I think the title change makes no difference whatsoever. I mean, what I will do is I'll trial it for a little while, and then if it's sort of not really working, then that's cool. I'm still tempted to include workshop in the title. No. So Cal Rowell thinks no. Derp says doesn't really think it matters. Fred Huber, I'm really interested to hear what you have to say before I disappear today. Oh, by the way, what is happening tomorrow? Tomorrow I'm covering spells or magic for HeroQuest, the board game. And at the end of the week on my Friday, I will be doing the Plasmoid. I'll be remastering or fixing the Plasmoid for Dungeons & Dragons 5e, and also the Theory. I don't have any experience writing titles for videos. Well, I have lots of experience, but I've never found that it really matters that much. Occasionally it might have an effect, but generally it's very hit and miss. I am unsure if this title form will help gain views. Yes, I don't know that it will. You need some way to spread word on your channel. Yes, yes. So somebody, I get sent emails about how wonderful my channel is from people who want me to pay them to help promote the channel and make it do better. And I've always known that that doesn't work, because what they would ask is how much I would earn in a month, or probably more in a month. So it doesn't translate to being a feasible option. But interesting. I'm glad to get that feedback. Pale Rider looks like he's already gone, so that's cool. So yes, that's what you can expect tomorrow. Hero Quest, spells and magic. I'll be covering that. Day after that, we're going to go through. I'm going to go through the fairy and the plasmoid. Why am I going through the fairy and the plasmoid? Because honestly, Calrel, ask AJ if you could announce upcoming shows on his Discord. So I'm friends with AJ Pickett, okay? We get along really well, and I would never consider that. One of the things that I am also aware of is AJ Pickett, no matter how many videos he does and how much he does on his channel, AJ suffers one of the same problems I do, which is he's in New Zealand and not in North America. We know this. We know this to be a problem. So I think the reality is that I need to use social media a bit more. I don't think the title change is really going to mean very much. And I don't think it's ultimately going to affect that much, because, my local tabletop role-playing game coverage in New Zealand is very, very small. It's, I think the Facebook group that I built for D&D is maybe just over 10,000 people, and it's taken years. I think it's something like just over 8 years, maybe 10 years. It's a long time. So yes, so I think, I'll try the title thing for a little while. I will include workshop, because I think that helps you guys understand that we are doing workshop stuff on monsters, and we will be making our own monsters again. We were doing it before, so I'll come back to making monsters eventually, but I do want to get as many of these tools down as possible so that you guys can use them and at least critique them on the Patreon, okay? Or even on the live stream, chat, or in the comment section. You can sort of like, I like this idea, but I think it would be better or more useful if it had this as well, or it needs a slight change to be more useful. Because this is not really something you normally get. Well, societies and government you do kind of get in Dungeon Master Guides and Game Master Guides. It does seem to sort of exist, doesn't it? Anyway, it's more about time. I do not do this full time. This is a part-time gig for me. I have a full-time job, so yes. All right, good to know. Good to know. So yes, I will include, no matter what I do, I will include and workshop in it, so that those of you who come for the workshop aspect of the monster stuff will know that that's what it's going to be primarily doing. And I will still do my presentation on Esper's monsters, okay? And I will try to condense it down so it's a little bit easier to understand. I think that we'll try that, and we'll see how we go. In any case, they will eventually get released as edited videos, but I'm not in any rush for that. I don't see much point doing it just yet anyway. Okay, all right, I'm done. Thank you, everybody. Hey, huge thank you to everybody who's been watching and listening. Huge thank you for everybody who took part in the poll. I see in the poll, have you heard of the Orb Dragon? Yes, 55%, no, 44%. Well, now, out of 9 votes. Okay, cool. Right, so just over half have heard of the Orb Dragon. I want to thank all of my patrons who support me on Patreon so I can keep running this program. Yes, all the tools we make here go up onto Patreon eventually, and if they're not there, you let me know so I put them there, okay? Sometimes I fall behind. I want to say a huge thank you to everybody in the chat, not just the people who've been watching and listening, but actually took part in here. Okay, thank you, Calrel, Fred Huber, thank you, Derp, and Pale Rider. And if I've missed anybody, it was not my intention to do so. I do apologize. Wasn't expecting to miss anybody. It's not too hard today. I think we covered everybody. So wherever you are in the world, whether it be the morning, the afternoon, or the night, please look after yourself, your family, and your friends. Be nice to your neighbors, okay? Unless they are monsters. If they're monsters and they like to eat human flesh, your flesh, maybe you don't have to be nice to them. Till next time, keep rolling those 20s.